I need a haircut.
We're live,
Yeah, we
baby.
are. You got a haircut place in this?
I went to one right down the street from here, but no, because I get my haircut about once every month when there's like an event or something.
It looked good. Oh,
Yo.
there goes the rat's nest.
Camera's going.
TBD.
Nah, don't say that.
Oh,
What did
sorry.
I just say outside? What did I just say outside?
Yeah, my bad.
I said the camera's gonna work today.
Yeah, you're right. Let me get
Let's get it, dude. Episode 22.
double twos.
Double twos. I got you a little gift. Per usual.
Not little.
Careful when you open this thing with the audio. Yeah, put that away from the mic.
Yeah.
All right, so I got some explanation to do.
Okay.
With this. So we got our
I
weekly
continue to
sourdough.
open?
Continue open.
Yeah.
You requested everything bagel.
I did.
I messed up.
Okay.
I just baked the wrong one. Simple as that.
Where'd you be?
A plain.
Oh, let's go.
That one's yours.
Let's go.
The other one is for Ma and fam.
Let's go.
So I wanted you to bring that back to them.
Yes.
It's another plain. This one, me and Nick got a little hungry, so we had a little slice. Dude, not my best, but it's still really good.
Is it plain or
So
everything bagel?
it's
No.
plain.
Okay.
No, the everything bagel one's
So
sitting
you
in the
made
house.
2 everything bagels. Or you made 2 plains.
I made 2 plains and everything bagel and an apple cinnamon.
Why do you think it's not your best?
This starter wasn't good.
Mm.
See how it's flat? See how much flatter it is in the shape
Yeah.
of it? So with the starter, if it's not as like peaked when it's ready to go, it's going to
It's
not.
more it's more
Yeah,
dense.
it's more dense, right? It's not gonna fluff up as much, but the taste is still as good. So let's get a 1 bite rating, and don't forget you gotta use the mic. Nah, I'm good. I don't take any more of it. I already took a piece. 1 bite.
Mm. I was gonna
Here,
chew.
I got you.
I was gonna chew.
I got you. I got you.
Hold on.
There's teamwork right here.
You gotta do the portion where you like hear the crunch.
Can you get another piece? See that? See that end piece right there?
Right here?
Yeah, right there. Get that. Now get that into the mic. That was a fail.
I couldn't get it.
The bottom's crunchy at least.
Mm-hmm.
What's the verdict?
The taste is there.
Taste is there, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Gotta recap where I'm at.
While you do that, I'm gonna get freaking comfortable.
I went. Bro, the classic plain is nice.
It's nice. They're gonna hear this entire crumble situation.
Sorry. 8-8.
Wow. Okay. 9-4 was the. Was that the everything? No, you didn't rate the everything again yet.
Blueberry, straight up.
That was the
blueberry.
blueberry because 9-2 was the peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
All right.
You're on it. You know
I'm
what?
on it.
You know what Lauren says to me? She goes, I said, babe, we got bread coming this week. She goes, which one? I said, everything bagel, the best you can get. You know what she goes? Just tell him to make a blueberry for me every week. That's what she
Done.
said.
Done.
She
Yeah.
said, I'll text him separately.
Yeah, because you have to let it get to room temperature. So I put it out this morning, and then I realized I put out the wrong one. It's all right though.
Very good.
I'm flashing them.
Wait, so I'm confused. You
make
already
this PG.
made the everything? Or you didn't?
No, yeah. So the way it works is you make the dough,
Yeah.
and the last step of the process you let it sit overnight, and then when you're ready to bake it, you can bake it that next day, or you can bake it like 3 or 4 days after.
That's why you were saying I don't want to leave it in the fridge from last week. Got it.
Yes. So it sits in the fridge, which kind of holds the structure. So then when you're ready to bake it, you leave it out, let it get to room temperature. It's gonna rise again a little bit, and then you bake it
Love
at
it.
room temperature.
Love it.
So I was too gone after
Yeah.
I realized it. It's
I
all right.
appreciate you.
22.
22.
Let me get my
baby.
notes up. What are we talking about, Cars?
You say it.
We are jumping into fueling for endurance, so fueling for running, biking, and swimming. And what I mean by fueling is obviously all around nutrition.
I'm interested in this one.
Why don't we tell them why?
I've been logging some miles.
Some.
I've been logging some miles.
Let's. All right.
I'm sweating right now.
You're a humble guy. Remove that. You've been dogging it out, dude. Let's give yourself some props. I know we're not done yet. Job's not finished.
Job not done.
But let them know. Because this episode is going to really help you, which is why I'm excited to go through it. Let them know. Bro, you've been dogging miles.
I've gotten into a little bit of a running kick. for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would say that at the least. People close to me have used the word obsessed, and I don't love it. But you can't say that they're wrong. I'm out there a lot.
You could be obsessed with many different things.
Uh-huh.
I think this is a good thing to be obsessed with.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You know-
I'm very interested on the fueling because I don't think about it before I go out. And honestly, I've been going out. My other problem is I want to talk to you about, which doesn't have to be on this episode. I'll go out and say, like, yeah, I don't know what, like, oh, I'm going for a run. People will be like, what are you running? And I'm like, I'm not really sure yet. And then, like, once I start running, I'll be like, I'm doing 5 today.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm doing 4 today, or I'm doing 6. And then, like, as I get to mile 4, I'm like, you could do 2 more, or you could do 1 more. So, is that okay, or should I stick to a structure? I mean, I'm not training for anything, so.
Yeah,
But that wasn't the point of this episode.
No, but it actually is great because in order to follow what we're going to go through today, you kind of need a structure. Not kind of, you need a structure. Because if you're just throwing 2 extra miles in or 3 or 4 extra miles and you don't really have that set number that you're going to be doing that day, then when it comes to nutrition, you don't know how to plan for it. So this will make a lot more sense when we get into it, but you need that set number so that you can be like, all right, I'm running at this intensity for this amount of time so that I can get this nutrition.
I'm not doing that. I'm not thought out.
No, it's good though because I feel like people think they need like a weekly plan or a monthly plan or a structure only when they have a race. But dude, even when I'm in my maintenance period, I always have a workout plan.
Yeah, I'm just going off feel.
So what we'll do for you is basically, all right, how many miles you want to run a week? We set that number. Then what we'll do is, all right, let's break that down into the different types of runs.
This goes across run, swim, bike.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
You, yeah.
It's just the structure of whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you do the weekly load, I'll call it that. So miles, meters for swimming, miles for biking. That way, then, if you go by week, you can break it down. And then don't forget, too, the load, the miles is going to change depending on if you're doing an intense run, you're going to do less miles.
Right.
Right. If you're going to do a long run, you're going to do low intensity. The main reason is going to go right into this. Why, if you have that structure, even if you're not training for anything, you're training for maintenance, then you can get so good at fueling for it because you know exactly what's going to come. So then when I go through all of this, you'll be like, all right, I'm running this intensity, this duration, this is what I need.
You know, it's kind of been cool for me because obviously I started with no like running background, and I know that there's like running form, right? Breathing, like fueling for it, which is one of the check boxes. There's all these things good runners do, and I know I'm not doing any of them, but like nonetheless, I'm making good progress. So I'm like, I can't wait till I start checking some of those boxes and then see how it goes.
But every runner's journey just starts by starting.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
The unknown in my head, like, oh, I haven't even unleashed like fueling my body the right way. I'm gonna make so much more progress once I hit that.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's nice, but I want to tell you how far ahead you are, dude. When I started running, my first marathon, I bonked at 18. Like
Yeah,
I'm
not doing marathon.
You remember though?
Yeah, I know. I was there running with you.
You think
for
you're
a portion.
Right. But what I'm saying is, it took me all the way up until I ran a marathon to realize that, oh man, like I really got to take control of my nutrition.
Yeah.
My fueling. Dude, 18, when I hit 18, dude, I got smacked in the face.
You won't see me do a marathon. 23 is...
Clip it.
Is it 26? 23?
26.2.
26, yeah. It's a lot.
Clip it.
I will say your brother was going for a 10-mile run. He's like, going for a run today. He's like, I know you can't do 10, so you can drop off after like 3. Chirping me. Did he tell you this? He's like chirping me.
No.
And then the next day, I sent him a screenshot of that text. And he goes, you didn't do 10 yesterday. I said, check Strava.
And you did 11,
I ripped it
didn't
the
you?
next day. No, I ripped the 10 miles
Oh
the
my
next
God.
day.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I'm an idiot. Like, not fueled, not planned. I was just like, fuck this kid. He's not going to chirp me like that.
running off what Nick's chirps. He goes, I know this was like right after my ultra run in November last year. He goes, I know why you don't want to do an Ironman. And I go, why? He goes, because you can't.
Yeah, and you're like, where do I sign up?
It's a problem. But that's why
Yeah.
I'll clip that clip.
No, you can clip it. It's not. I'm not.
But no, it's so important because, dude, I think a lot of reason, especially in the beginning, so you have to just start when it comes to running. You're not going to know shit.
Right.
You have to just figure it out along the way. It's with anything. But I also think that's also the main reason why people struggle so much to get into running. Because when you realize if you just give yourself the fuel, dude, it's like, it's a whole different sport, right? And then you get into the form and stuff like that, but it's a sport. I know not many people want to view running as a sport, but there's absolutely a technique to it. There's a form to it,
Yeah.
and there's a fueling to it. It's just an individual sport.
Can I make one more note that
You can make 10 notes.
that's not about fueling, but about running? It's it was almost like a hidden like cheat code for me. We talked about it on here. Used to hate running. I would chase times, chase numbers. I go out now. We talked about this. I go out. I don't even like put the watch on the time. I put the watch on the heart rate. I just go out and run. Think about God knows what. Put in a podcast. Like, just run and like. If it turns out to be a good time, it turns out to be a good time. I couldn't even tell you what my mile splits are right now, but I'm no longer like I don't care about the time anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. That has been huge because before I would like chase like, oh you did 8:30, like try to get 8:25 this time. Then you're just constantly pushing yourself. Where if you're in a training block, I get you got to hit numbers, but if you're not, just like go out and run
It's a vibe.
and just do whatever you can. Don't kill yourself at the end was another big one. Like, you don't have to sprint it out. Get your work in, jog it to the end, run it to the end, and then you're done. It's nice. All right, I'm done.
I want you to re-listen to this episode and that part specifically, and please take your own advice.
I'm done.
Take your own advice.
I'm done.
What happened on mile 6 yesterday? Or it was 2 days, whenever it was.
I was testing something.
Oh, yeah.
I was testing.
Yeah, you were testing how fast you could sprint the last mile.
I was testing. I was testing.
But no, dude, I mean, that's just because you don't you just like you say, you don't have the structure. Yeah,
I
you don't
got
have the
bored, and I
structure.
just was like, let's see what you can do
boy
on
was
mile
feeling
6. Yeah.
So now we
And
got to get you fueled for it.
Mondoc is a cheat code.
Cheat
It
code.
really is.
Mondoc Maniac, you're
Yeah.
talking to him.
It's just, I know you
I
already
love that
know.
place, dude.
I know you already know, but it's a
I
cheat
love
code.
that place. All right, so for nutrition, for fueling, for endurance, I'm just calling it endurance. It's going to be probably centered around running most, but I want to throw biking and swimming in there because it's all the same, to be honest. So we're going to go through, we got 4 touch points. I want to go through how to approach fueling because there's some depends things. Types of fuel, how much and when we need to fuel, and then sources of fuel.
Love it.
We'll go through sources at the end.
Love it.
I'll get into some of the supplements that I use as well. Common question is, how do I fuel for endurance? And my answer is always it depends.
What do you qualify for a run as endurance?
It depends. It depends because it depends on the person, right? So when I say it depends on intensity, duration, body weight, and I would say sweat rate. Those
So,
are the 4 things. to
So
think
like for
about.
me, what would you qualify as endurance? Like over 3 miles?
I mean, to be honest, dude, endurance is such a broad term because what endurance mean is like constant repetition over and over and over again. I think well, you're more. I would just say cardio.
I'm getting too hung up on the word endurance.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me the schedule to fuel on how much endurance I'm doing.
Yeah. So
Ish.
what we're gonna go through when we talk about, we'll go through the types first. But when we talk about how much and when, we're gonna talk about each of those categories.
Perfect.
We'll talk about all right. If you're doing this intensity for this duration, this is what you need.
Perfect.
to do.
Perfect.
Because that's how you got to look at it, dude. And then we will mainly only focus on intensity and duration. The personal things you got to think about are body weight and sweat rate. a lot of these recommendations, they come based off body weight. So, for example, with carbohydrates, it's going to be how many carbohydrates depending on your body weight. So we're not going to get into that because that's just way too much, to way too much and way too deep. But we're going to try to keep it general.
Give you a chart.
In terms, so it depends, right? Mainly focus on intensity and duration, and then when you really get good with it, body weight and sweat rate. Types. Carbohydrates. Crack. Carbohydrates and electrolytes. We did an episode on each of these.
I've been hitting these.
Which is great, but now we can really center around fueling for endurance and workouts. And remember, going back to the endurance thing, we're talking about endurance, we're talking about cardio. We're not talking about strength training. We're not talking about any of those kind of things. Those recommendations are different. And whether it's bodybuilding or whatever it might be, very, very different. Because endurance, again, what I mean by endurance is over time, repetitive movement over and over and over again, which means your body's going to be constantly using fuel. You're going to be taking it in, it's going to be utilizing it, you're going to be depleting it, and then your body is going to replenish it on its own, or we can replenish it ourselves. Cool. And that's the whole idea of fueling for endurance. And then the other thing I want to bring up is my analogy.
Oh, let's go.
I got to bring up the analogy.
He's an analogy
because this is my favorite analogy because we're talking fueling. And what's the first thing you think about when you think of fuel?
Gas.
In a car.
Oh, let's go.
Right?
You think it's better than the construction worker analogy?
That was a goodie.
That was a good one.
If I didn't mention
the overpass,
the bridge and the road over.
I know.
But yeah, it's gonna be better. No, it's gonna be better.
Right.
Because here's what I want to bring this analogy up for. Ooh, this analogy might be better for the sources. Let's pause. We're gonna pause and go for the sources. All right, let's talk about types of fuel. Analogy will come later. Carbohydrates and electrolytes. We talked about both of them. Carbohydrates, don't take this literally, but a good way to think about it is carbohydrates are going to be for physical fatigue, fueling physical fatigue. Electrolytes are going to be really good for mental fatigue. Now, the reason I say don't take that literally is because electrolytes are going to prevent muscle cramping. It's going to have a direct impact on our muscles, but it's significantly going to help that mental side of it too. And then carbohydrates are strictly going to the muscle. They're strictly going to be the tank. So that's what we're going to be focused on when we're talking about fueling. So we're going to go through how much and when to fuel. So we're going to go through the different intensity levels and durations, and we're going to bring carbohydrates and electrolytes into both of those. If you need a background on either of those, carbs and electrolytes, go back to those episodes, I would say. I don't want to go through the whole electrolyte thing again because that's when I remember I spaced you when I was talking about the cells.
Yep.
So we're not going to do that again.
No, don't do that.
They can go back.
Don't do.
I don't want to do that to you.
Don't do that.
You know I want to.
I know you do.
All right, so let's start low and go high. So let's start short duration, low intensity.
Okay.
All right, so we're talking 60 minutes and under at zone 1 or zone 2. This, I know we're talking endurance, but this would be where you would be at if you were lifting weights, right? It's not very cardio focused. So if it's like short duration, low intensity, let's say zone 2 heart rate, if you need a background, should we go through the heart rates too?
No,
Everything
we did
I'm going
the
to
heart
go through
rates.
is the heart rate zones.
We did the heart rate.
All right,
But yeah,
so
give it a quick brief.
Quick brief. So zone 2 heart rate, that's going to be our heart rate that's very low where we can have a conversation during. So if it's 60 minutes or below at that conversational heart rate, you really only need a fuel before the workout, if at all. I think most people won't need any carbohydrates before that because the average person's diet is rich in carbohydrates and sodium, like electrolytes anyway, that they're probably fine. That's another big preface is it really depends on what you're eating outside of it.
Got you.
So overall, unless you're waking up in the morning and you don't want to train fasted, then that's when you can get something quick. That would be like less than 30 grams of carbs is what you need. A banana, piece of fruit, honey, maybe a piece of toast, whatever that may be.
For the workout?
Before. Unless you want those workouts you can totally do train fasted.
Okay. Cool.
You'll absolutely get through it.
Got you.
if like a lot of people like get lightheaded when they train fasted, so that's when you would have a little bit of something, but you don't need much. Intra, so during the workout, don't eat anything.
Got you.
And then post workout, just be your normal meal, and then rehydrate with water, and if you need electrolytes for that day, but high protein for that post meal. Other than that, that's quite simple for a short duration. So 60 minutes or less, low intensity, zone 2, that conversational heart rate. Moderate duration or an intense activity. So we're talking 60 to 90 minutes at zone 2 or mostly zone 3. Zone 3 is where you can have a conversation, but you're taking breaths in between. You ever been on the Stairmaster and someone's next to you and you're just like, you're trying to talk and you're trying to act like you're not.
Most of my workouts are this.
Yeah.
They're the zone 3. Yeah.
When you're normal.
What?
When you're not.
No. My runs have been this.
All right.
60 minutes, zone 3.
All right.
Kissing zone 4, just touching.
Until the last mile.
No, not always. That one was a special case.
All right. Yeah, no, 100%. So this is going to be most people. 60 to 90 minute endurance about. And then zone 2 or 3. Zone 3 is when you start getting you're starting to like beat a sweat a little bit.
Yeah, I know it.
This is where
zone 3 is so weird. It's like you start out at zone 3, like obviously you don't, but like when you work up to zone 3, you get there and you're like, this isn't a problem. This is kind of easy. And then like 5 minutes in, you're like, it's a little harder than I thought.
it is. It's because that when you transition from zone 2 to zone 3. Because zone 2, the whole point of zone 2 is that you should be able to do that for a very long time.
Right.
I'm talking ultra distances.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, even in these ultra events too, but any event, once you hit zone 3, after like, you're right, 30 minutes to 60 minutes.
You're like, oh shit.
You're like, all right.
Yeah.
I thought I was chilling.
I'm in one.
I'm hurting a little bit. And that's just because zone 3 is that middle zone where it's not zone 4, which you can really only hold for so long. Zone 3 is when the mental aspect really comes into
like
it.
You can
because
stay there for long.
You can stay there. You're going to have to really master that mindset.
Right.
Zone 4 is when you're going to have actual limitations,
Just
like
physically,
fueling limitations. You'll still have limitations with Zone 3, of course, but Zone 4 is when it really gets into it. So moderate duration, we're talking 60 to 90 minutes, or let's just say Zone 3 for now. Definitely want a pre-workout fueling in there. Intra depends.
What do you mean by pre-workout fueling?
So something within an hour before.
That's what I was going to ask.
Great question.
So hour before, and you're talking carbs and electrolytes?
Carbs and electrolytes is what we're going to focus on for fueling.
So if you're within an hour, you're doing a simple carb, like fruits and stuff?
So, yes. Before that, though, this is another it depends.
Gotcha.
Because it all depends on what time you're training. So you might have a crap ton of carbs in you from the whole entire day.
Right.
So it just depends. Like in the morning, you got to think about it that way too. That's why this is a little challenging.
I was curious on this. How, like, I'll eat meals and kind of think about it, but how long before, if I have a meal before, will those carbs stay for me to be able to use?
They will always be there. It's just a matter of whether it gets stored or if it's in the bloodstream.
Like if I have a huge carb dinner and then the next, not morning, but like at lunchtime I have a run, am I using those carbs from dinner last night? Or is that too long?
Great question. So what's going to happen with those carbs overnight? They're going to be stored. Carbohydrates, when they're in our blood, are in the form of a simple sugar.
Right.
Glucose. They turn into a stored carbohydrate called glycogen, which means it's sitting and waiting to be used. So what's going to happen is if you, and this is so good to really paint the picture for why we need the carbs. Let's say you did an afternoon run after all day. Did you eat carbs that day? Any other carbs?
Like that morning?
Or are you doing a morning run?
No. Like I ate dinner, big carbs, slept. That morning, didn't do anything, ran at lunch.
No fueling before that.
I probably had like a banana or orange in the morning.
Perfect. All right. So what's going to happen is those stored carbs are going to sit there. That banana or whatever you have, that's going to be sitting in the blood, but it depends on how long. So there's no number. I would say 2 or 3 hours.
Got you.
So it's going to sit there. what's going to happen is if you run in time after eating the banana, it's not going to get stored into glycogen. The glucose is going to stay there. And what happens with glucose, our body tries to get blood sugar, glucose, out of the blood as soon as it can. It can do that via the muscle, or it can do that via insulin. If you do it quickly enough, and by the way, in the muscle, it's going to store carbohydrates in the muscle. That's where your glycogen is as well. But if you do it quick enough, it's not going to store. It's going to go straight to the muscle and fuel and give you energy.
Got you.
If you use it quick enough. So that's why I recommend within an hour pre-run, because then it's still in a glucose form to be used absolutely right away.
And how much for this?
So
depends.
Yeah, so no, we'll get there. So it does depend. But going back to that, what would happen is, say you didn't eat at all, you didn't have that banana, the carbs from the night before, they're just going to get broken down into glucose, and then you're going to use them for fuel.
Got you.
It just takes a little longer.
Your body to get there.
Right? So you can think about it as like rapid energy versus like sustained energy. If you want rapid energy in the moment right now, simple sugar right away.
Got you.
If you kind of want that more sustained energy, you can have it the night before to let it store. Or you can have a complex carb, which we're going to get into. That's not a simple sugar. That's going to have to go through a breakdown process as well. Yeah. So, love that, because that really paints pictures. You do have to kind of think about it that way. All that aside, not thinking about what you ate in the day, not thinking about the night before. For moderate duration, 60 to 90 minutes, let's say zone 3, I would say pre-fuel, moderate amount within an hour before. We're probably, for the average person, we're probably talking 30 to 60 grams of carbs.
What's in a banana?
Banana, you're probably, depending on the size, 20 to 30.
So like 1 to 2 of them?
1 or 2 bananas, probably 1 to 2 pieces of toast.
Cool.
If you're throwing honey on there, I think like a medium to large apple is about 30 grams.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna combine the sourcing a little bit, but I'm gonna go through like specific like actual food items later. But you want a simple carbohydrate. That's gonna be your fruits, honey, maple syrup, your natural sugars, because it's fast acting. You want it to be used right away.
Right.
A complex carb, that's gonna be like, I call them like your meal carbs, like oats,
Rice,
sweet potato, rice, all those. So you want a simple sugar, ideally fruit, or it could be a supplemental version like a gel or one of those things, which we'll go through. 30 minutes to 60 minutes before. And then electrolytes too. You don't need any pre-fuel electrolytes for this. You can if you want, depending on like the heat and stuff like that. That's a whole nother thing. Not absolutely needed. I would just get it throughout the day. Yeah, in that day. If you're going to have something during, because this is 60 to 90 minutes, I would say to have something around 30 to 45 minutes in, around 30 grams of carbs. And again, a simple sugar. If you're hitting 90, I'll go halfway, so 45 minutes in. If you're at 60, you honestly probably won't need it. And again, this is all a feel thing, dude. When we're talking about a feel thing, we were touching on this before. I was trying to explain how if you've ever felt that like muscle burn, like it burns so bad, that's a depletion of carbohydrates. If it's muscle cramping, that's a depletion of electrolytes. So just go by feel. If you start cramping, electrolytes. If you're having that burn, your body's using carbs. So you can really go by feel and fuel for it too. So sum that up. Moderate duration, 60 to 90 minutes, zone 3. We're talking about 30, 60 grams of simple sugar. Electrolytes throughout the day. If you're going to do something during, it would be about, again, 30, 60 minutes at the 30-minute mark or the 45-minute mark. Bang. Thoughts on that?
Love it.
Cool. Long or high intensity. So now we're talking 90 to 100 minutes, so an hour and a half to 2 hours. Zone 3 or zone 4, right? So we're separating the duration and the intensity right now.
I was going to say, so you're 60 to, or would you say 90 minutes no matter what, but or a workout that gets you to zone 4.
90 minutes to 2 hours, yeah. We'll talk that intermediate between zone 3 and zone 4.
Cool.
Mainly zone 4. Let's say zone 3 for the last one, zone 4 for this one.
Zone 4 for how, like, an extended
Intensity.
period? No, I mean touching there at any point or sitting there for,
That's where it gets difficult.
because it's any person.
Yeah, dude, that's where it gets. That's why fuel. Again, one of the biggest reasons why I emphasize everyone to get a plan program or a coach is because it's so person dependent, dude. It's so workout dependent too. Because you could have a 30-minute zone 4, zone 5 workout, you still need a fuel for it, but it's only 30 minutes.
Right.
So that's why I guess we'll say or.
Okay.
If you're hitting zone 4 for an intense amount of time, or you're hitting an hour and a half to 2 hour workout.
Okay.
So this is when we want to do pre, intra, and post. Post for the other one again is just more so just getting it in, getting normal meal in. Pre now for the regular person, depends on body weight and all that. Pre, same durations, about within 60 minutes, we want 60 to 90 grams of carbs. This is going to be ideally a simple sugar again, but this is a little harder because it's a lot of carbs. So what we're talking about here is toast with a banana, honey, like the classic breakfast for any kind of endurance athlete. They'll either go toast or oats with banana and honey.
Yeah.
And just load that. That'll get you so many
overnight
carbs.
oats with some bananas and honey.
What about sourdough with?
That's nice.
Yeah.
But that's a complex carb, no?
No, that's where it gets. It's a white flour. It's a white flour, which is simple.
Oh, nice.
It'll break down very.
That's
quickly.
ideal.
It's ideal. Same as white rice.
White rice isn't as.
It's simple enough.
Got
Put
it.
it that way.
Got it.
In terms of timing of how quickly it'll break down, yeah.
Cool.
So we're talking 60 to 90 grams of carbs before, and then I would say probably 500 milligrams of sodium, 250 milligrams of potassium. So that's going to be half a gram or a quarter of a gram. And you want that 2-to-1 ratio sodium to potassium across the board. That goes into that cell stuff that I confused you with, just how our human body works. You want that 2-to-1 ratio. So 500 to 250.
Love it.
All right. Easiest way to get sodium is, I mean, yes, you can just use salt. Make sure you use the right measurements, though, but just getting electrolyte supplements is the easiest way to do that.
That lemon lime is fire.
So good, dude. Then we got to talk intra. So during the workout, what you want to shoot for is around 60 grams per hour.
60 grams of simple carbs.
Of simple sugars per hour. Simple
sugars.
carbs, same thing. Per hour. So if you're doing a 2-hour ride, you're going to have the pre. And then, again, it depends. What you'll probably end up doing is having it at 45 minutes and an hour and a half because it's a 2-hour ride. Right? So the easiest way to get intra carbs is supplementation. Gels. We're going to go through that. But gels, liquid carbs. You can do solid food, but depending on the sport, it's going to be tough.
I've never fueled in a workout.
It's going to be a game changer, dude. That's why I'm excited to go through this.
Nice. What does it make you feel like nauseous at all?
Opposite.
I just didn't know, like, do you get what I'm saying? Why you would think you would feel like
Yeah.
you're nauseous sometimes without eating, let alone you do eat.
Well, we can touch on considerations because when it comes to you literally have to train it. So, for example, dude, for this race, I am obviously training physically.
Yeah.
But my key focus this entire time is training for nutrition. Because I have to have so much.
Getting your body used to it.
I have to eat so many carbohydrates and drink so many fluids and electrolytes. It's insane, dude.
Yeah.
But it's unless you want to make it so much harder on yourself.
Right.
So, yes, you do have to go through this training period because it's going to feel very weird.
Yeah.
Because most people like wait till after they eat a while to do a workout, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But
It's like don't jump into the pool,
Bro, when you-
an hour after you eat.
Bro, when you experience a fueled run or a fueled intense workout, it's like a nitro boost. It's insane.
I could feel you getting excited.
Insane. So, 60 grams of carbs per hour of simple sugar is during, and then probably around the same recommendation of 500 milligrams of sodium, 250 potassium, every hour as well.
Every hour on the hour.
Now that really depends of how much of a sweater you are too.
So if I'm not doing this, but for you, you do the 60 to 90 grams an hour during your bike rides?
On my bike rides, I'll do around 60
An hour.
an hour.
Are you taking in the 60 all at one time? Generally?
No, not at all. Because what I'll do is I'll have my liquid form, so a simple sugar in a powdered form, in my bottle, so that I'm getting my water at the same time.
So your water it's mixed in with your water?
Yeah, it's mixed in with my water, so I'll get about 20 grams there. I'll get about 20 grams from a gel, and then I'll mix it up depending on the hour, because I'll alternate hours. I'll either do 2 of the bottles.
So you have 2
or
bottles
2
ready
gels.
before the ride?
If it's like a 2-hour ride,
Yeah.
I'll have 4 bottles.
4 bottles.
Yeah. Because if it's a 2-hour ride, I'm trying not to do gels because I need the liquids anyway.
Yeah.
No, I will do gels. No, you're right. So I'll do 4 bottles. So that's 40 grams of carbs for each hour, and then I'll do 1 gel. So that's gonna give me the 60.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Just curious.
Crazy, right, dude?
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's a lot of liquid.
It's a lot of liquid.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of planning, dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot of planning. But you can also
You're just rolling into your room with 4 bottles.
But you can
gels.
double scoop it.
Yeah.
I don't, just because I need the liquids.
Yeah.
I need to practice getting the
So
liquids
you
in.
could, but you could double scoop it
Yeah.
if you want.
100%. And then post is where this gets actually really important, because especially if you're an endurance athlete, you're going to be doing it again at some point. You got to replenish.
Right.
Also, if you're just a normal person who needs to be active throughout their day, work, your brain needs to be functioning, you got to refuel too. Protein, of course, definitely want protein in, but more focusing on carbohydrates and electrolytes. I will get another dosage of electrolytes throughout the day after, anytime that you can. Same dosage, 500 milligrams.
Cool.
Post, you want to replenish. You want about another 60 grams of carbs post after
Another
that
60
workout.
grams of carb. Okay.
Yeah. So quick little rerun. We're talking an hour and a half to 2-hour workout, or a zone 4 workout. If we're gonna put a duration on, I'll say 30 minutes to an hour.
I could do that.
Pre, you want 60 to 90 grams of carbs, and 500 milligrams of sodium, 250 milligrams of potassium. Intra, so during the workout, you want 60 grams of carbs every single hour, and about the same amount of electrolytes every single hour. Post, you want 60 grams of carbs within 2 hours after, and then you also want to just get another thing of electrolytes. Now, the only difference with post is we want complex carbs for post.
Complex.
Complex carbs.
So that they're broken down and ready for the next thing.
It's going to be sustained, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna fuel you throughout the day.
What are your go-tos?
We'll get there. Don't jump the gun. Don't jump the gun.
I know.
We got one
I know
more.
one of them.
We got one more. How much and when? So we went through.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are we done? Are we done with the cycles? With the
Not yet. We got one more.
intensities?
We got one
Oh,
more.
what's the last one?
Ultra.
So the
That's
okay.
over 3
Go
hours.
ultra. Go ultra.
Why you don't want me to go ultra?
I want to know how many carbs you're getting in on your race day.
Well, that's ultra.
Huh?
You like me personally?
On the Ironman.
Oh. All right. Well,
Have you done the number?
I can tell you right now because we're gonna get through those numbers.
Let's go.
Yeah, I can tell you. All right.
Am I
So
jumping the gun?
yeah, we got short and low, complete, moderate or intense, long or high intense, and now we're gonna go ultra. All right. So when it comes to ultra endurance, we're not even talking intensity here. We're just talking long duration. So you're probably gonna be zone 2, maybe if zone 3, if that.
Yeah.
If you're touching zone 3, it's probably not good. Well, no, just the intent. You will be. But anyway, so ultra, we're
Will you?
talking. Yeah, just because you're gonna be the heat. You're just when you're in a race, dude. Your heart rate's naturally elevated more than you want it to be, just from nerves. So you're gonna be in higher heart rate.
I was talking about this with Nick this morning. I said he was trying to say like I'll be sitting at like 170 or I think heart rate for the marathon or whatever the heart rate was. And I said, if you look down at your watch and see you're at like 180, 185, like you're pushing early, are you like, holy shit, I'm fucked? And he's like, yeah. I would be like, I'm toast. Because you'll never be able to bring that back
it's
down.
It's just simple physiology.
Yeah.
Like you can't, your body can't handle
It made me
that.
think of it when you said you can go up to zone 3, but you wouldn't like to. That's why I said, can you? Like, would
Yeah.
you actually be toast?
I could do zone 3, yes. Zone 4 and zone 5 is where it gets very different.
It's like you're playing in a bad ballpark anyway.
Let me actually explain that why too, because it goes right into the fueling. The difference between
I thought it was
zone
so
3,
interesting.
Yeah, the difference between zone 3 and zone 4 is what type of fuel that you're using. So at low intensities, 2 and 3, the reason we don't need many carbohydrates is because we're actually using fats as fuel. Fats are our most efficient fuel source, but they're very slow. So the breakdown process of fats is very slow, so that means it's going to fuel you slower. So right now, when we're not doing anything, we're fueled by fats. When you're doing a lift, you're most likely fueling by fats.
And when you're walking, incline walking,
All fats.
mostly fats.
Fueling as fats.
So is
Or any simple sugars that are in your blood right there.
would you say for weight loss that
Great question.
walking is the best, incline walking?
Yes and
least
no.
efficient because time-wise, I guess.
Yes.
But great at burning fat.
In terms of fat oxidation, so fat burning, I would say zone 2.
Just touch on Lauren's tummy thingy question from 2 ago.
No, because we're talking about people who, we're not talking about people who work out in general. I think you're more specific on people who are just focused on, it's hard to explain. No, because what they're doing is exactly what we want. They're burning calories, they're getting high heart rate, they're getting strength
Right.
in, they're getting all of those things, and I wouldn't want them to switch over to just zone 2.
Right.
I would say maybe for older populations, especially when you're, I would say, 40s, 50s, and over. That's where that argument will come into play because it's harder to get into those heart rate zones, those higher zones too. But yes, because you are burning more fats as fuel. However, one of the biggest things for weight loss is sugar control and blood sugar control. So that's where I don't want to just go full in and say yes. But that's where it's cool because zone 2 and zone 3 is where you're primarily burning fats as fuel. And then high zone 3 and zone 4 is when it flips the switch. And now you're burning carbs as fuel. So when you're burning carbs as fuel, dude, you are just constantly using up what's currently there and then what's stored as well. So that's why when it's weird when you're doing even a long duration, but it might be low intense, a long, very, very long walk or very slow jog, that's where this carbohydrate suggestion gets a little difficult because it's a different fueling strategy.
Right.
But yeah, so to answer your question, if I'm tapping into zone 3 during one of these ultra events, I have to get in more carbs. More carbs because I'm getting closer to the state where I'm going to be burning carbs as fuel.
But then immediately try and bring it down as much as you can? Or at that point, you're going for time? If you're in a race.
If you're in a race and you're going for time, then yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
That's why pacing is so important.
Right.
Because then you messed up your pacing.
Right.
But it's a ratio. So the carbs versus fats is a ratio. And this is pretty cool. We actually did this in grad school where we had this machine. It was called a metabolic cart where it will literally tell you the ratio in terms of how are you more of a fat burner or are you more of a carb burner, and are you which one you're burning more of during a bout of activity.
And that was person to person?
So yeah, so a VO2 max test, right? During a VO2 max test, it also measures what's called RER. That's basically how many fats are you using, how many carbs are you using. And you can see the trend where in the beginning of a VO2 max test, it's a graded test, so it gets very intense. In the beginning, you're primarily using fats, and then it slowly trickles to carbs, and then it goes fully to carbs.
So you see when that turnover was for you?
So now that you're getting into it, you've heard this term threshold, right? Threshold means your threshold heart rate, at what pace. So for running, for example, at let's say 7-minute pace, you hit your heart rate, your threshold heart rate, which is the heart rate where you completely switch to primarily carbs. And now you're mainly burning carbs. And that's where that burning of the muscle comes in. So, yeah, I mean, it's an actual, like, we can measure the fat versus carb utilization. But that was important to mention because bro, that's how difficult this is. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really
a
hard.
science.
That's why it's so cool, dude. Bro, this was literally everything. This is what we tested in grad school. It was so cool. I would nerd out about this stuff.
You are a nerd.
All right, so 3 hours plus for ultra endurance. We'll just call it zone 2, just for example's sake. This is where we have pre, intra, post, but now we have a carb load. Now we're going days before, right? You don't necessarily need to do that for the other ones, but for these ones, absolutely. So we're talking a marathon and over. If that's the case, the carb load, how many days before?
A marathon and over?
Yeah, because we're talking 3 hours and over.
Yeah.
Except for Nick. But now this would align because the intensity's there.
Yeah.
So this is where the number of days before the carb load that you do kind of does depend on the intensity. If you're doing a zone 2, you could get away with a 1-day carb load or a 1 to 2 day one. And again, depends on duration. If you're doing something like Nick is going to do a 2 or 3 day carb load.
Got you.
Because he's doing a 2-hour, 50-minute run at zone 4.
The whole entire time.
Insane. So, in general, what that carb load looks like, this very, very depends on your body weight and all of that. But I would say people are probably gonna get anywhere from 300 on the low end to up to 500 to 600 on the high end every single day before. Crazy, dude. Crazy. Those loads, you're going to have to do a combination of complex and simple, but you ideally want complex carbs. So that way it's going to be more sustained energy. Pre, so before, this is where you have 2 pre's. You have a meal 2 to 3 hours before. So now we're talking day of. You're going to have a meal about 2 to 3 hours before, probably around 90 plus grams of carbs.
Oof.
Ideally in complex, but it's going to be a combination of the two.
3 hours, you said about?
3 hours before. 2 to 3 hours before. And then 30 minutes to an hour before, you're going to have another 30 to 60 grams. So you could get anywhere from 120 to
before.
over before this activity. Then from there, you're going every hour. So now what you're going to be doing is, depending on the duration, 60/90 to 100 plus grams of carbs per hour.
3 hours. He's getting them through gels, I guess. Mostly.
All gels.
All gels.
All gels.
On the run.
He's not having any liquids on the run.
Yeah.
All gels.
Wow.
And that's only because he's running at such a high pace
That just.
that to carry a bottle
Yeah.
could be the matter of a minute and could be the matter of Boston qualifying.
Yeah.
How insane is that?
It's wild.
So, all gels. For electrolytes wise, electrolytes in a load, so the days before, I would say probably 1,000 milligrams and 500 milligrams sodium to potassium per day.
For the 3 days leading up?
Yeah, it's just so hard. It depends on the person, man.
To person, yeah.
And then morning of is now where you also you want to get a pre-electrolyte fuel too. Again, you can stick to that 500, 250.
Cool.
And then you're going 500, 250 per hour as well.
Are they included in the gels?
Some have them.
Oh,
Yeah, some have them.
interesting.
Yeah. And then, dude, post is absolutely crucial. Again, obviously. Post. You know what I'll say for post?
Malone.
Cheat meal.
Oh, nice.
Why you gotta bring my guy like that?
No.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
Love him. Great concert.
Oh, cheat meal.
Bring in a cheat. Have fun.
Why not?
You're doing something like
Yeah,
that. Enjoy
seriously,
yourself. But just make sure you get. The reason I say this is because
You're gonna hit
a
all
cheat
the
meal.
shit,
You're gonna hit
yeah.
carbs and sodium
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
So, but if you're not gonna be cheating,
Carbs and sodium.
I would say you're trying to get around another 60, 90, 100.
You're
just
grubbing.
carb up.
Yeah, you're
Grub,
grubbing.
have
Just
fun.
eat as much as you can.
Have fun.
Yeah, why not?
Loaf of sourdough. Take it down.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, let's go through the sources real quick, and then I can go through what my plan is.
Lovely.
I want to give them the info before I sign. You know me.
I know.
Sources.
I ask a question, you're like, I'll get to it in like 20 minutes. I gotta lay the groundwork. No, because you're very thought out and methodical, where I'm just like, don't know anything and super direct.
Yeah, but that sometimes bites me in the ass if I
Who's
forget to
biting
go
you,
back.
where?
That idea of me
Yeah.
coming back in 20 minutes, because if I forget, don't
Yeah,
come
but
back.
you usually don't. You're fueled up. Your brain's fueled up.
Sources. So we mentioned complex and simple.
We did?
We mentioned when to have which ones.
Yeah, we did.
Complex carbs. I'm just gonna go right down the list.
Do it. Who made the
Uh,
list?
What?
You made the list.
Yeah. All right. So that's actually a great point. My list has food quality in mind. So one of the most difficult parts for me, which we're gonna touch on when I talk about my fueling, is I unfortunately, but also fortunately, will not sacrifice quality of food for fueling.
Mm-hmm.
Because quality food is what makes me feel good. And yes, I want to complete these events, but my overall goal is longevity.
Fair.
So I won't make those sacrifices, but I'm making it work.
Yeah.
Brown rice, quinoa, whole wheat bread or whole wheat pasta. Pasta, I'll throw, unless you're making it at home.
I haven't seen
Those
you.
are its
I haven't
stuff.
seen you eat pasta.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. But I threw it in there. Oats, sweet potatoes, legumes, so beans,
You don't like
lentils.
oats?
I like oats. They
I'm
just
just-
don't sit well with me.
I'm just hey.
No, this is good. This is good
Yeah,
info. This is
yeah.
good info.
I just know where you're lying.
You know me so
I know you
well.
don't eat toast.
Granola and
No
oat
wheat
bars.
toast. Yeah, you're not eating them.
And then any kind of like endurance bar. So like there's so many out there.
You're keeping them to a minimal.
Yeah. Simple
Okay.
sugars.
You're
Any
in
ki-
on these. You're
any
in on
kind
these.
of fruit.
Yep, you're in.
Fruit bars.
Yep.
Lar bars are fantastic. Dates. I think if you want me to list my pound for pound best food source, best fuel source for endurance athletes, number one on top of the list are dates.
I get made fun of for liking them
I
as
remember,
much as I do.
and that's why I defended you, because don't make fun of my dates,
I love them.
and don't make fun of my date.
Hey,
How you doing?
I love them.
They're
They're so good.
because they're so.
They're
This
packed.
is the opposite for someone who's trying to lose weight, bro. 3 dates,
They're a lot.
you're packing in 30 grams, 45 grams carbs.
Yeah.
But think about it on a run, dude. If you're not Nick and you're like going out for a marathon, or I'll get into it too, bro. Those things are like they're like candy.
Yeah,
Like, you
give me.
just pop them real
Yeah.
quick, and they're so good. So
Dates.
dates.
Oh, you thought the camera went. You thought the camera
I'm
went
so
out the
used to
way.
it being out. I haven't looked at it this whole time.
Yeah, you look good.
Do I?
Yeah.
I'm showing skin.
It is. You got the summer vibe.
Fruit, dried fruit is really good too, because it lasts a good amount of time.
I tried dry fruit the other day.
Which one?
I tried a strawberry banana like mixed dry fruit. Didn't love
Was it dried or freeze dried? Freeze dried is crunchy, dried is soft.
freeze dried.
Yeah, it's crunchy. Yeah, it's weird. Don't get.
But I used to have as kid. When I was a kid, I used to have the banana chips. So good,
Ah.
but they have so much sugar on them.
Why
but-
do they do that too?
I don't know, but the banana chips were fire.
So fire. You can definitely get them outside.
Yeah, but they're crazy sugar.
No,
You can get straight up just banana chips.
banana
like
chips
plain.
without putting the
They're
sugar
so
on.
good.
Apple chips. So I'll give a shout out to the company Bear, Bare. They have Bear apple chips. They have banana chips. They have like coconut chips, like flakes. Dude, so good.
Good.
And ingredients,
The fruit.
what it should be.
Yeah.
Then
Keep
we
going.
got honey. So
You're
raw
in.
honey.
You're in.
Raw maple syrup.
You're in.
I say raw because
Big maple
again,
syrup guy.
nah, I love it.
No,
I haven't had it in a while.
you're big at promoting it.
Yeah.
Because people get misconceptions with
Yes, exactly. But we're not talking Aunt Jemima.
it. No. I don't think she's on the bottom anymore.
She's not.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's what is it? Something Mill. Pepper Mill. Some Mill.
I don't know. Pepperidge
Yeah.
Farms?
Yeah, it might be that.
Maybe.
Yeah. Not a political guy either.
No.
Honey, and so the reason I say that too is because it's got to be raw honey.
Yeah.
Or raw maple, both of them, raw maple syrup.
Nothing
too.
like taking maple syrup, something that's so good, sweet by itself, raw, just amazing, and then just fucking it up.
By adding more sweetness.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Either way, keep going.
That's like saying, all right, let me take a salty chip and add more salt.
Double salt, baby. We
Double
love our
sugar.
salt. We love our salt.
I do love salt. Then, supplementation. So when we're talking about fueling for
What was that?
endurance
Did you get lost in your bicep?
with supplementation.
So
Yeah.
you gave
Was
yourself
I
a little,
looking?
a little tricep
I'll give
peek.
myself a little peek. How we done? Look at that. His name? I don't know. I got to
His
name him
name.
now.
This pipe running down my bicep.
What's
His
up
name?
with it? What's up with it? For supplements, most of them are going to be simple sugars, but unless it's like an energy bar. So, shout out Bear Performance Nutrition, BPN. Literally not affiliated. I wish I was, but they don't do that. They, in my opinion, are the best endurance supplement brand.
Are you talking about supplements other than like electrolytes?
When I talk about supplements, I'm talking, I should say food.
Oh, okay.
But I say supplements because
Like
we're not
food
talking about, real
replacement
food.
supplements?
Supplemental food.
Guy.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Not actual food is what I'm talking about here.
Right, but like it has the nutritions of food.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Example.
So BPN has these endurance bars, these oat bars. They're called Go bars. That's a oat based with a bunch of simple sugars within it. That's going to be more of a complex carb. So that's something that you would have
'Cause the
day
oat-
before. You would have 2 to 3 hours before. Could have it maybe an hour before, but yeah, because of the oat side of it. Then you have gels, you have gummies, and
I
then
get
you
what
have
you're
the
talking
liquid carbs.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess it would be like
I get what you're saying.
they're processed, but
I didn't.
you know what I mean.
I wasn't linking it, but yeah.
The reason I don't want to say food, but this is stuff that I would have.
Yeah.
I don't.
Food replacements, kind of.
I tried to have the Go bars, the oat
Okay.
bar yesterday. Dude, I'm not kidding. Within a minute, my stomach was churning, and I
I
got
know.
super gassy.
I've been around you. We can spare them from that.
You can you already exposed me, so you might as well keep going.
I've been around you when you've eaten something that's outside of your diet, and this kid is the most gassy kid I've ever met.
But dude, the thing that sucks is
the smell.
I'm. Right, right. But I'm talking about a endurance oat bar. Like that.
What was it?
It's
What
just
was it?
that sucks
Oh,
so much.
Madison. Shout out. Should I out it?
I'm gonna, dude, I'm an open book. I don't care what people think about me. I'm just trying to provide good value here.
She makes
Everyone
bark.
farts, everyone shits, everyone has poop.
She makes bark. It's amazing. So good. You loved it. Don't say you
By the
didn't
way,
love the
I
food.
didn't tell her this. So you're really exposing it.
It's amazing. I love it. I'll eat it for days.
Dude.
You actually love the flavor.
I ate. She gave me a
It must
square.
have been
By the way,
processed peanut butter.
she gave me a big square. But she was like, "Yeah, I would have had more, but Carson and Nick ate it all."
Yeah,
That's messed up.
It's well. Oh,
Maybe
hey,
it isn't.
was it?
Maybe-
Hey, was
You were
it?
thinking about me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, was it?
Thank you,
Because
thank you.
I met up with this kid later that day.
We recorded a pod.
Was it a pod?
Yeah.
And we're sitting here, and it must have been. You're like, dude, I think she used the wrong peanut butter. This kid was a walking dumpster, like just leak.
It wasn't a think situation, dude. I know.
But it could have been like chocolate.
And
or
not the
something.
wrong peanut butter, the wrong peanut butter for me.
Correct. Do you feel embarrassed right now? I didn't mean to embarrass you.
I really don't care.
I know, but now
Everyone-
Madison's gonna be upset.
Everyone poops, farts, and shits, and we're also talking about a good thing.
Sure.
We're talking about how healthy I am.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take it.
Yeah. True.
Like, that's why I always use the word fortunate but unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because it's fortunate that it's happening, but it sucks at the same time. But dude, that's also why my answer to cheat meals is I'm trapped.
Yeah.
And now that it's out there, all right?
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it. I'm trapped.
Yeah, you are.
Because if I do...
And if he does, you don't want to be around him
No,
after.
it's so bad I won't go into the public.
Yeah.
So, something that is just... And maybe I got to get a little information what peanut butter she used. But something so simple as peanut butter,
It could
dude...
have been the chocolate though, too.
Depends on the chocolate. Yeah.
And both combined.
It's sad. But that'll make sense when I go through, like, my fueling as well.
Yeah.
But,
We're back. I'm sorry.
No, the other ones are the gels, the gummies, and the powders. Any brand, I love BPN's brand. Gels are the hit. So I have the gels, and then I also use the liquid carbs. It's called G1M Sport. I just think the gels work really well for me because it's sauce based. This is the difference. They're
Salt based.
sauce.
What do you mean by
I'm
salt?
gonna explain.
Oh.
Their gel is different from the other gels. So if you have a typical gel at like one of the ones at the aid station during a race, they're like, how do I explain the consistency of it?
I never had one.
It's literally like a Jello, like a gooey. It's gross.
Okay.
The BPN ones are more like an applesauce.
Got you.
So it's more of a
Got
simple
you,
natural
okay.
sugar. Those are the sources.
Love
So there are many others if you like want to sacrifice quality, but those are the good quality sources that I would recommend. And yeah.
Shout out sponsor, ManoWellness.co.
Shout them out. Go ahead. Give us the
Um,
promo. Let's give you a little test.
Enhance the Human. I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to say we got the app, fitness app. What do you think a fitness app can do? It does it. And then the apparel, nasty. New blue shirts, awesome.
Got a little yogurt on mine. Well, I'm drinking that.
Sticker, awesome.
I don't like how that looked on camera.
Someone's gonna clip that. And then what was the last thing? I had another one. Mobile workout van. We're in it right now. It's sick. Comes to you. Check out the social media pages. Comes directly to you if you're in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area, down the shore for summer, bachelorette parties, and you want to get a little bit of sweat going with the ladies or with the guys. That didn't sound right. But yeah.
Sounded fine.
Yeah, it sounded fine.
You
But
don't work out with ladies and guys.
ladies and
You know
and
why?
guys.
Because we're open.
That's right.
We're open to all.
That's right. Hit him up, 215-66. I have no idea what your phone number is. But,
Well, I don't memorize it either, so now you're
but
killing me.
ManoWellness.co, DM the boy.
Yeah. DM. Is that the wrap?
Yeah, that was a terrible ad read.
No, I liked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was good.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Have a great week, guys.
Bang.